Greetings everyone, Zannrath here, and welcome back to more Everlasting Summer, where last time we left off, I guess, tenderly embracing Alyssa. What do we do again? I keep forgetting what happens in the previous episodes. This is bad. Oh yeah, we did the whole, like, ghost thing, and no one got scared, and they were, like, ruffling at us, or her, rather, and then now we're like, yeah, it's not too bad. Anyways, I don't know for how much longer we sat in silence. Alyssa stopped crying, and I didn't want to disturb her, as she had just calmed down. But I also had absolutely no desire to stay in the forest overnight. Hey, let's go back to the camp. I shook her shoulder gently, but there was no answer. She's dead! No, I'm just kidding, she's sleeping again. Alyssa had fallen asleep. Wait, hold on, what's going on here? Because last time I was like, it's weird that it's like covering her here, but no, hold on. Is she like, what would you call this? Just like sitting in my lap in a sense, and this is like, this is her, and then there's her other leg, and then that's me, and my leg, and I don't know where her skirt ends and my shorts begin? Like, I don't know what's going on here. Oh, okay, no, I think I get it. Her skirt is going over my shorts, and these are my shorts. Okay, everything makes more sense now. I was gonna say that's a very awkward stance for her to be in. Okay, I don't know. Just wanted to put some stuff up. Hey! I shook her harder. No effect. And of course, because she's in this position, we can't get her off of us for some reason, because... yeah. At that moment, I wanted to cry, because I'm a little baby. Why does this always happen to me? I know, man. Semyon, why do girls always keep sleeping with you? It's like, I don't even understand, man. It sucks. Life's tough. Why do I get caught up in these foolish situations? Always and everywhere. Yeah, indeed everywhere. Let's see. In the library, in the forest, and that's with Alyssa. Lena, it was in her cabin. Slavia, it was in the forest. Oh, hey, you're kind of repeating yourself there. Alright, anyways, even having suddenly appeared in... oh, and with Alyssa. Alyssa was also in her cabin, so that's... even having suddenly appeared in a weird pioneer camp in the middle of nowhere, I didn't get to be a subject in an experiment like a victim of a sick cosmic mind. I feel like this is stuff I've read before. Or a participant in an intergalactic war on the side of a group of suicide-prone pacifists, like a regular hero of science fiction. No, instead I have to spend the night in a forest with a little girl in my arms who is muffled in a bedsheet. Alright, so can we extrapolate how tall she is? Like, if you extend her, she looks about as tall as I am. Yeah, still. Like, even though she's doing this, like, she looks about as tall as... okay, maybe like 2 or 3 inches shorter. Next time, I'd rather have the monstrous experiments. I stood up and put the sleeping Alyssa on my back, but that makes it look like, or at least sound like, that she's a lot smaller. I don't know. I guess I could probably carry someone my own size on my back. For a while, at least. Maybe there was a way to wake her up, but firstly, I didn't want to, and secondly, one more burden or one less at that point, it made no difference. It's good that she's not heavy. That's definitely good. She's lanky. Yeah, I think she is pretty lanky, huh? At the square, comrade, I stopped, put Alyssa on a bench, and threw myself down beside her, totally exhausted. Yeah, I'd probably be like that too. Even a little girl is hard to carry for too long. The stars in the sky were shining brightly. Perhaps they give their light not only to me in this camp, but also shine on the city where I was born and where my old home is. It was as if a pain settled in my chest. Hey, look. Relapsing, I guess? I don't know. Maybe we were like... because this is all a dream, right? Theoretically. And it's like, just woke up for a little bit and we fell back asleep. I envisioned my old flat clearly, and a detestable burning started to make its way from my stomach to my throat. It was not, no, it was not wistfulness. More like a sad reminiscence. Or reminiscence? Reminiscence. Because despite all that's happened, I've felt more alive in less than 5 days here than I had in the last several years there. And now I really wasn't sure if I wanted to get back. Only one question still ate at me: how and why I ended up here. It flared up yet again in my mind. I haven't spent much time seeking answers or even just thinking about my situation lately. My thoughts were occupied with everyday routine affairs. And now, in order to break away and be able to wish to stay here for good, I need to understand the nature of this place. It's just that even a nightingale in a golden cage has a right to know how and by whose will he got in there. After that, to make the choice whether to stay or not. I don't know how much longer I would have devoted to existential thoughts, but Ulyana's loud snoring brought me back to reality. So small, but she snores so loudly. I sighed, put Alyssa on my back, and headed to her cabin. What's Alyssa gonna say? I had no desire to explain everything to Alyssa, so I just put the sleeping Alyssa on the porch, knocked at the door, and left quickly. Oh man, that's funny. And there's the owl. You're just like, what's she gonna think? She's like, oh, random stranger just dropped a little girl on my front porch. That's nice. I approached Olga Dmitrievna's cabin with mixed feelings. On the one hand, I had done what I intended to do. I'd comforted and entertained Ulyana. On the other hand, the 2 crumpled bed sheets in my hand looked more like rags left over from some worn-out straitjacket. How did the other one get so dirty? Did you throw it on the ground while you were comforting Ulyana or something? I opened the door softly and went in. Semyon. Olga Dmitrievna was sitting at the desk, and it seemed she had been waiting for me. Do you want to explain something to me? Well, just don't scold her again. It's my fault. Oh, he's talking about Ulyana. I was like, who? Just like that, I became a hero, to my own surprise. My tongue acted faster than my thoughts. Perhaps some of my best traits, which even I wasn't aware of, have shown themselves. Humanity, not the humanity. Humanity as opposed to common sense. Really? Having started this, I chose to stick to my decision. Well, it was me who got the bed sheets, and I was standing behind the tree back then. Behind what tree? Yeah, what tree? There are bushes. The camp leader looked at me in astonishment. So what did you need the bed sheets for? Oh man, she's gonna think I was trying to sleep with Ulyana, huh? I realized my mistake. So you're not talking about the forest thing? Semyon, I don't understand you. I want to know where you disappeared to so mysteriously during the hike, but now I would be interested in listening to your bedsheet story. But it was impossible that she and all the others hadn't seen Ulyana's performance. Pioneers laughing out loud couldn't have been only my imagination. Maybe they didn't notice her. Maybe they were telling funny stories at the campsite instead of scary stories. Olga Dmitrievna, I'm serious. Didn't you see someone in a bedsheet spring out at you recently? So it was you? She gave me a close look. No, it wasn't me. Couldn't she tell just from my height? But you're holding the bedsheets. Yes. I couldn't understand if she was playing me for a fool, or she really didn't know what this was all about. Olga Dmitrievna, let's act like this conversation never happened. I'm too tired for today. Alright, go to bed. That was easy. To my surprise, she readily agreed. Of course, I was astonished by such a reaction, but I decided to use the moment. I wrapped the blanket around myself and turned to face the wall. But I couldn't sleep. There were no thoughts, my head was aching, but I still couldn't manage to fall asleep. I rolled to the other side, and the images of the day started to flash before my eyes. I shut my eyes tight to drive them away, but it didn't work. Why is someone knocking at the door? Suddenly, or window. Suddenly I heard a knocking at the window. Oh, Ulyana's gonna be like, sneak out with me, Semyon. Okay. Olga Dmitrievna seemed to be asleep. I dressed myself and walked outside. Why wouldn't you just look in the window? Ulyana was standing before me with a tricky smile. How'd you manage to carry me to the cabin? Wasn't it hard? Penis joke. Yeah. Not really. What have you come for? I couldn't sleep. But at that moment, bed seemed to be the only place where I could reside with no suffering, which is why Alyana's sudden visit didn't please me at all. How was she? Did you get scolded? No, I avoided it somehow. That's great then. I always get lucky. That's for sure. My eyes began closing despite my will. It seems that slumber has finally come upon me. Look, I'm very tired. This won't take too long. Or take long. Uh-oh. Is she gonna try to kiss me? Don't close your eyes, Semyon. Close your eyes. Or she's gonna punch me in the nuts. I'd take that too. I wouldn't put that past her. Even not in the nuts, but in the stomach. Houdini style. That joke was in bad taste. It was the easiest thing to do, and I didn't even want to know what she needed it for. Maybe that way she would leave me alone sooner. I closed my eyes. Bam. Yep. Oh, that's cute. It's on the cheek. That's nice. Non-sexual. Like a sister. Like a little sister would, right? Maybe? And in that moment, I felt a brief kiss. I opened my eyes. Wait, hold on. Let's go back to that. Let's do some more close examination. So, she's like... I'm guessing she's standing... So, she's only like a couple inches shorter than Semyon, it seems, based on this. My eyes opened themselves, but Alyana was already running away, waving her hand to me. Yeah, her hand to me. I stood still, benumbed. Benumbed? Okay. And I couldn't even manage to shout anything after her. I don't know for how long I stood like that, but eventually the night chill cleared my stupor. I shivered and went back to bed. This time I didn't want to sleep. Oh, I hope it's not for certain reasons. I wanted to think it all through, but my eyes, which had begun to close as I was standing before Alyana, seemed to issue a command to the rest of my body and fell asleep before I realized what happened. Wouldn't it have been funnier if I closed my eyes and just fell asleep, or like my knees buckled or something, because I just knocked out as she tried to kiss me, and then what if I fell forward or something and it would have ended up in her headbutting me essentially. That would have been funny. Alright. Day 6. Got him. Alright. Alright, so at least we're doing things right. I can't say that my morning was good. Instead I woke up absolutely broken. That's nice. The room was filled with bright sunlight. Outside the window, birds were lightheartedly chirping. I reluctantly dragged myself into a sitting position and stretched. I slowly started to recall the events of the previous day. A trip, a silly ghost game, Alyana falling asleep, and... yeah. A kiss. I blushed immediately. It was so surprising that I'd been knocked out of reality for a while. A kiss on the cheek is that, embarrassing, I suppose. Sure, why not? The main problem is how I should treat her now. At first glance, nothing special had happened, but besides, she's the last girl in the whole camp from which one would expect such actions. She seemed to me, at best, to be a little sister, nothing more. There you go. But for her, apparently, I was more than a big brother. Well, there's always incest, so, right? Though perhaps I just imagined all that, and there was no hidden meaning, deep motives, or allusions to far-reaching conclusions in this kiss. I chuckle at the thought of incest because, so I have this friend, and she actually does like incest anime. And then one time when our friends were playing Cards Against Humanity's, is it Cards Against Humanity? Just Humanity. There's only one Humanity. Cards Against Humanity. She drew incest, and she played it, and it won. And and everyone knows she likes incest anime, and animes. I think anime is plural. Anyways, as soon as she reached for the black card because she won off of incest, everyone was just like, "Oh my god, it's so appropriate," and whatever, and that became her card. That's her de facto card. The next time we played, she happened to draw incest, and like it just auto wins now for our group. Anytime you drop incest, it just auto wins, and it happened to be hers again, and like that was just like cemented it. So yeah, every time I think of incest, that's what I think of. Now I got sidetracked with my anecdote. Yes, we just read that. Just an expression of gratitude. Jana is definitely capable of extraordinary deeds, and could easily turn simple things into complicated ones. Finally, I decided to put off the matter till the time I can meet her face to face. Clock showed 11, meaning Olga Dmitrievna didn't wake me up for breakfast. However, I shouldn't worry, there wasn't much time left till lunch. I took my bag of washing accessories and went to do my water procedures. I've never heard a morning routine be called water procedures. I should start calling my morning routine water procedures. I didn't meet anybody on the way. Probably all the pioneers are busy with their own things. The place near the basins was deserted too. Just 5 minutes later, I again stood in front of the camp leader's cabin, thinking what to do next. Nothing worthwhile having come to my head. I sat on the deck chair and possibly could have stayed there until lunch, but I was drawn from my trance by a familiar voice. Hi. Is this stuff I've read before? I looked up and saw Slavia, who was smiling at me sweetly. Hi, you overslept again. Seems like it. That's no good. Perhaps and where are you going? Actually, I wasn't really interested in Slavia's agenda for today, but I wanted to keep the conversation going. Well, I've got some things to do. I see. Silence followed. She was about to leave when suddenly I said, mind sitting with me for a while? Ooh, Semyon. Playing the game. Sure, why not? Slavia sat nearby. Something's worrying you, isn't it? No? Why do you think so? I can read it on your face. She laughed softly. Not really. Although probably Slavia was right. Something really was worrying me. Obviously, I was worried about last night's events. Listen, do you have any little brothers or sisters? I do. Oh, hey, now we get to learn that Slavia has a little sibling. And how do you get along? Pretty well. She smiled widely. And you? No, I don't. I said after a short pause. So why are you asking? I don't know, just... Do you always understand them? I try to. Sometimes I cannot make out what children want. Suddenly I stopped for a moment. Slavia doesn't know that I'm actually much older than I look. To her, I'm still a child myself. Those who are younger. Why? You're 17, that's not a child. In the US, you're almost an adult. Well, I cannot always understand the motivations of their actions. They often behave illogically. Weren't you as old as them some time ago? She looked at me with surprise. No, I was always 17. Of course I was. At that moment, it seemed to me that it had been a very long time ago. And when I looked at Ilyana, that time turned into a gulf of years. Well, think of yourself at that time. I was different. Did you do the Reddits back then too? Did you have Reddit back then? At least it seemed like that to me. If so, good for you. Slavia laughed again. And you? Did you also do stupid things? Depends on what age we're talking about. Well, let's say the age of 14, for instance. Is that how old Ilyana is then? Well, different things were happening, she said thoughtfully. Oh, that's nice, but it still doesn't make anything clear. Maybe that's the way it should be. Oh, Slavia, why didn't you tell any of this to us, like, in your route? Were you a troublemaker? I bet you were a troublemaker. Maybe. Maybe she was a troublemaker and she, like, tipped the cows at night or something. Because didn't she live on a farm, or don't her parents own a farm or something like that? Slavia stood up, wished me goodbye, and left. I closed my eyes and fell asleep. Oh, God, again? You're gonna sleep through lunch now, huh? It's like, oh, it's 5 o'clock now. Nope, just kidding. The sound of the bell calling pioneers for lunch woke me up. Although the sound was quiet and was coming from far away, my body worked like a clockwork automaton. Yeah, automaton. And in due time, I was standing near the door of the canteen. And that's where I met Ilyana. Hi there. Yeah. I already ate. Cool. She laughed brightly and ran away. I didn't stop her. Is this gonna be one of those things where like when you were like really, at least when I was like really young, like early grade school, like when girls liked you, they would do the thing where like 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 they'll like do something to you, like poke you or I don't know something, and just like run away or whatever, right? It's like you like interact like very briefly, just run away and they giggle or whatever, right? That's how girls show they liked people when they were like 5, right? Yeah, maybe. Um, I didn't stop her after all. I had nothing to say to her. I took a meal and was already heading to my favorite place in the corner when suddenly someone grabbed me by the hand. Sit down right here. Alyssa's voice sounded menacing, but at the same time, somehow pleading. What happened? I've got something to discuss with you, she said with a slightly softer tone. Okay. I sat down next to her. So what's the subject? You were there yesterday, when she played that dumb prank with the bedsheet. It was pointless to lie to Alyssa. Yeah, I was there. That's brilliant. She laughed out loud. Damn. Why on earth would you do that? Or did you do that? Alyssa instantly became serious and gave me a level look. Why don't you ask her? No, I'm asking you now, so you have to talk. I don't know, I rasped. Or you better tell me, why didn't the camp leader react? How should she react? I think you know. I looked at her skeptically. Well, she just did not realize who it was. Well, I must admit, did we just start 2 sentences? Well, yeah. Well, I must admit, Olga Dmitryevna's deductive abilities leave much to be desired. And then, it was you who brought her back last night? Nope, Shakespearean elves did that. Are there elves in Shakespeare? Yeah, sure, okay. I said mockingly. What's the problem with that? No problem at all. Alyssa stared at her plate and started to eat with concentration. Also, she ran off to somewhere during the night and came back in a happy mood. Oh, God. And? Don't you know anything about that? Even if I do, why do you care? She gave me an intense gaze. Well, I do care. I would have never thought that she could be concerned with someone besides herself. Nothing like that happened, if you'd like to know. Nah, it's not about that. Alyssa replied shortly without looking at me. Probably it was a bad idea to bring up the subject. By the way, what's that like that? What do you mean? What you just said. What's that I just said? I tried to joke around to confuse her. Hey, listen to me, I'm watching you. Oh, I'm so scared. This route has been pretty scary, I must admit, you know? I think it's a very appropriate thing to say. She said roughly, took my tray. Oh, I said roughly, took my tray and left the table. I was wondering, I was like, why did she take the tray? My tray. I definitely wasn't afraid of Alyssa's words, even though they sounded like a threat. In fact, I was more interested in her concern for Ulyana. Of all of the... Wait, what if they're related? What if Ulyana and Alyssa are actually sisters? Oh man, that'd be exciting. Of all the local inhabitants, she was surely the last one you would expect to worry about another person. Or maybe she's like... she was like fighting with Lena over like who likes or who I like, and then all of a sudden, instead of fighting like among themselves, she realizes like, oh, Ulyana also likes Semyon too, and I have to like watch out for Ulyana too. So I don't know. I walked out of the canteen and into a real furnace. The sun blazed so ruthlessly that nobody could stay under the scorching rays. It was time to find some cool and shady place, and the beach seemed like the best place for this. Oddly enough, the beach was not crowded. Perhaps some of the pioneers were scared of the scorching heat, or maybe they just decided to take a nap after lunch. I didn't bring my swimming trunks, so I just sat under an umbrella and began to watch the swimmers. That's not really creepy, is it? It's like just watching all the other pioneers in their swim trunks and their bikinis. I don't know, whatever swimming suits for girls, whatever. There was no one I knew, and it was better that way, as I had an opportunity to sit quietly and think. 5.5 days have already passed since my arrival, and what has changed? There were a couple of unexplained but completely harmless events, but all in all, just a regular pioneer camp. I think I've read this before, right? Happened in the sessions. Let's go ahead and just fast forward, 'cause I think I've read this before. Boom. Just kidding. Never. I don't think I've seen Lena in her swim attire before. So I think this is more or less the same. Maybe this time I hadn't been born yet, or even worse. I think I remember that. Closed my eyes and dozed off for a while. And boom! Of course she wears a onesie. When I woke up, I saw Lena by my side. How long have you been sitting there? I asked in my surprise. Not too long. Strange that she did not wake me up. Did something happen? I don't know why, but my sixth sense was telling me that she's eager to say something, but doesn't dare. No? What about you? Neither. Are you sure? Of course. I don't think that's the right use of neither. Right? You have to have two options in order to say neither. Or me either, I think is what they meant. I smiled. Then what do you want to talk about? Why would I want, or what? Why would you think I want to talk? Dude, Semyon, you're like the worst, person to even try to interact with. What do you want to talk about? Why do you think I want to talk to you? Gosh. This seems like that. Nah, not really. A long silence ensued. Do you have any little brothers or sisters? No, what about you? I don't. Why didn't you ask Alyssa that? So why would you ask that? Sometimes I think that I don't understand children at all. Me too. Lena's face didn't express anything, but it's probably got to be like that. What do you mean? How should I treat them then? Treat them the way you think is right. Well, that's the whole idea. I don't know what is right and what is wrong. The more you think about it, the more you'll regret the mistake. Well, that's true, but it doesn't help. I was somewhat surprised by such profound words from Lena. Of course, she said all that with a trace of shyness or modesty and without inappropriate openness. But still, you mean that I should follow the first idea that I get off the top of my head? I laughed. Yeah, be impulsive. As the saying goes, your first thought is the right one. Do you believe that? I don't know. We sat there for some time, then she stood up. Well, I've got to go. Thanks for the conversation. Don't mention it. Lena smiled faintly. I lay down and stared at the burning sun. Your first thought is right, huh? And what if my first thought was to kiss her back? Oh, Semyon. Well, if she's 14, that's still, I think it's 2 years. I think the threshold is 2 years. Actually, on this topic, my high school calc teacher, he was a really nice guy. He was one of those guys that would joke around with his class, because most of us, I actually took 2 years of calc. I took AP, and I took AB and BC, so we had him for 2 years. And so over those 2 years, we got really friendly. A lot of the class, at least by the second year, we all really knew him well, and he knew us well. And we would talk about he didn't have a what do you call it, a super keen grasp on some social aspects or whatever. For instance, I'm thinking of he one time he asked us why it's inappropriate for guys to talk to each other while they're in the bathroom, a public restroom. Anyways, that aside, what I was getting at was I remember one time he was telling us about his rules for dating, and I think it was oh gosh, what was the rule? It was you're dating, the age range for you to date is double your age minus 7, or half your age plus 7, or something like that. There was a mathematical formula that you could follow to figure out whether you could date someone based on age. I'm trying to remember it right now, and I can't remember, so I'm just trying to figure out. So if Semyon is 17, half his age would be let's round it to 9, and plus 7 would be 16. So his age range, his lower the lower threshold of his age range should be 16. So I guess just going on that formula, 15 and a half, let's say even. Well, Jana seems to be out of his not out of his league, under his league, right? She's not even in the same. She's like a division below him. So whereas Jana, let's apply her double her age. So let's say she's 14, which was the age that Semyon threw out, and I'm going to take that as an estimate of what he thinks Ulyana's age is, and whether this is going to be appropriate or not. So 14. So her threshold would be 28 minus 7, so 21. So Semyon's actually in the clear there, right? So yeah, I don't know, man. This is gonna be interesting. Do you kiss her back? Not on the lips, at least. You can kiss her on the forehead or something, man. Alright, that aside. By the way, what was the first thought that came to me at the time? I tried painfully hard to remember, but nothing worked. Not even scraps of thoughts surfaced in my brain. However, in that situation, I could only follow Lena's advice since it all happened so suddenly. The sun was setting slowly. Comrade, someone called to me at the square. It was electronic. He ran up to me, caught his breath, and said, "Semyon." Yeah, it's probably me. Take it. He handed me some kind of key. What's this? Okay, I was going to say maybe I've already read this stuff, but I guess I haven't. So, what was that other line that I skipped? The sun was setting slowly, so I rose and went to the canteen as my stomach told me that even the participants in such a fantastic story should have regular meals. Yeah, okay. It's a key to our clubhouse, and why would I want it? Olga Mitrovina asked me to, considering that I will not be returning there today. Did he just confess to Zannrath? No, that was... When did he confess to Zannrath? I don't remember. But, so, give it to Shurik. He has his own business, so take it yourself. I can't. Why not? Listen, just take it. Why would I need it? What am I going to do with it? You'll give it back to me later. Listen. Well, I have to go. Peace, bro. He shoved the key into my hand and ran away. Alright, let's go ahead and wrap that up there. That key is for us to lock up this episode. Wow, that's a terrible analogy. But, yeah, there you go. So, got a kiss from Ulyana, and based on that picture, it was on the cheek. So nothing too bad considering our concerns about age thresholds and such. So still banking on her just randomly being like 16 or 17 for whatever reason, just being really short and still childlike, because sure, like I said, I'm in my 20s and I'm still pretty childish sometimes. So yeah, still hoping that that's what's going to end up happening. But it was on the cheek, so it was kind of innocent. But you can also not always go based on what you see visually, because that's not always the case. Anyways, yeah, not bad. I guess Semyon is falling for her too, considering he's all like, "Oh, I want to try to understand how kids think now," and my first thought was to kiss her back. But then again, I don't know. When you get kissed by someone, isn't your first thought just like, well, I guess if you were repulsed by it, you wouldn't think of kissing them back. But even if you were like okay with it, like not super into it, like you probably think to kiss back, right? Wouldn't you? I don't know. Anyways, enough theory and crafting and all that stuff aside. Let's go ahead and lock this up, and we'll see let's see what this key is for. That's what we're going to figure out next time. And until then, thank you for watching. Bye.